Well, Dr. David Brown's an astrophysicist from the Astronomy and Astrophysics Group at Warwick University in the UK. Welcome to DW. This sounds exciting and dangerous.
Good evening. It is certainly exciting. As you mentioned in your introduction, this is China's first independent mission to Mars. As with any deep space mission, there is an element of danger to it. The 7-minute descent to the surface of Mars from orbit is notorious for failures of previous probes. Only about half of the previous missions to Mars from all countries have been successful. So this is a big investment for China.
Yes, the UAE launched a Mars mission this week. The US launches one next week. As you mentioned there, Europe crashed one in 2017, as did India last year. Why all this activity now around Mars?
Well, as you said, Mars is coming up to its closest approach to the Earth. And when you're dealing with interplanetary missions, you really want to try and time your travel to take advantage of these close approaches. If you time it wrong, you can add months onto your travel time, which then increases the amount of fuel you need and thus the cost of the mission. So you really want to time it around these points. That's why we have this flurry of 3 missions over this 2-week period. And there was another mission, actually a European mission to Mars that was due to launch this year. But because of delays, they've had to delay that by a full 2 years to take advantage of the next opportunity.
And what are they all looking for up there?
Well, there's a lot we don't yet know about Mars. Although it's one of the most highly explored places outside of the Earth, there is a lot we don't know, and every new technology development that gets put onto a mission tells us a little bit more about it. The region that this mission is going to explore is this vast plain which has a very large amount of frozen water underneath the surface. And so what they're looking to explore is really the topography, the geography of that region of Mars, how it might have been shaped by the water, what the material there that's covering up the ice is made of, and how it behaves, and try to figure out a little bit more about the conditions on Mars and how they've evolved over time. Ultimately, this does all feed into the ongoing search and investigation to see if Mars could have or could be hosting life at some point.
All right. And what sort of track record does China have in space missions?
It's a pretty good one. The Chinese National Space Agency is a fairly young organization. It was only founded in its current form in 1993, but since then they've put 11 astronauts into space. They've had several successful lunar missions, including the first ever rover, or indeed first ever mission to the far side of the moon. That rover is still active right now. This is their second attempt to send a mission to Mars. The first one failed through no fault of the Chinese aspect of that mission. That was beyond their control. So they have a good track record in their space program, and I see no reason why that shouldn't continue with this.
And what's it planning to do? What's China planning to do with the information that's collected?
Well, they're going to use it to feed some of the ongoing research, as I said, into the environment on Mars. And they're also using some aspects of this mission as technology demonstrators, both for potential developments of their lunar program, but also for developing future missions to go back to Mars. As the clip you played said, they're talking about potentially doing a sample return mission from Mars. So some of the technology they use in this mission could be put into that future mission to bring material back from Mars. And there's a lot that we could learn with material being brought back, much in the way that the Apollo missions brought material back from the moon. You can do a lot more once you have it in the lab on Earth. then you can in situ.
I'd heard that there was a problem with this in that China wasn't looking to share the data it brought back.
That is always a possibility. That would be disappointing if it turns out to be true. International cooperation is one of the sort of foundational aspects of modern science, particularly when you're looking at planetary exploration. Not sharing information is a potential risk here. That, as I said, that would be disappointing.
Well, good talking to you. Thank you for joining us, Dr. David Brown from Warwick University.